everyone. My name is Darina. I'm a Relations Manager of ECOS company. ECOS is innovative infrastructure representing cloud mining solutions. As a part of our regular column, we'll take interview with an expert. Today we are talking to Dr. Horst Treiblmaier, a full professor of international management at Modul University of Vienna, PhD of information systems. His research interests include economic and business implications of blockchain, cryptoeconomics, social science research, and gamification. Okay, Horst, just maybe tell as a first question a pair words about yourself. So you, as far as I understand, you are professor, yeah, blockchain enthusiast, just a few words, yeah.
Yes, as you've just said, I'm a university professor at Modul University Vienna in Austria. And my main research topic is the implications of blockchain technology. I started off a couple of years being interested in cryptocurrencies, of course, like most people in this space started off with Bitcoin. And then I got more and more interested in what you can do with the underlying technology, which is basically blockchain. And so I devoted my whole energy on researching the space and figuring out what companies can do with this kind of technologies and how they can get business value out of that.
Wow, that sounds really great. I just maybe ask few just basic questions. So what is interesting now, for example, what should we expect from blockchain technology maybe in 5 years or in 20 years? Just your point of view.
Yeah, that's really a difficult question if you ask about 20 years. I think it would be even hard to answer that if it's 1 or 2 years. But in the short run, I would expect a huge leap in the technology because blockchain is not one single technology. There are so many underlying primitives that are currently being developed, and many people still associate it with Bitcoin and with the proof of work of consensus, for example. But consensus mechanism might be one good example of how you can develop one of the underlying concepts of blockchain, and that's not the end of the road. So I would expect in the next 1 to 5 years for blockchain development, for blockchain technology to become mainstream, and more companies are using private and permission blockchain solutions. Many people actually might think those are not real blockchain solutions and a blockchain has to be public. For me, it's just a matter of definition. But I would agree that the most challenging and the most game-changing applications can be found in the when we talk about public and permissionless blockchains. And this is something that's really hard to predict because it's not only technology that needs to be developed, but it's mostly legislation. And so I cannot make any exact predictions, but I would expect blockchain technology as an immutable ledger will become more widespread within companies or between companies in the value chains, but also as you might call it cryptocurrencies in public adoption.
Okay, I see. It's really difficult to predict for a long period of time. Okay, thank you so much. And my second question, do you invest in crypto or some projects, some coins, Bitcoin, for example?
Yes, I'm mainly a blockchain researcher as a university professor. I'm interested in the implications, but I have invested a little bit in Bitcoin. Initially, I bought Bitcoin as a payment means, which was the original intention. But of course, the exchange rate was so volatile that, like most people, I didn't spend the Bitcoin, but I kept it. I also have a little bit of some other currencies, cryptocurrencies, and I plan to check out some more ICOs or even better STOs that are around, because I think many of those projects are really interesting, but my main focus is not on investing, but it's more on researching.
Okay, thank you so much. How do you think, so will it be possible that in the nearest future, for example, US dollar will be digital, like in China, now they're making experiments with digital yuan?
Yes, I know about the CBDC, the central bank digital currency in China, but this is not really a cryptocurrency, and the fundamental principles of blockchain, the public blockchain as was Bitcoin, are basically not in a CBDC. But of course, central banks are now experimenting with digital currency because it makes many things easier. It makes transactions more smooth and efficient. Yeah, when it comes to Bitcoin, the underlying philosophy is that it's a peer-to-peer system and it doesn't stop at national borders, or it's not for a specific country. And so I would see blockchain technology as being something that you can fairly easily implement in a specific country, because legislation is not a big topic and you can make use of the underlying technology. But when it comes to cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, the big question is what's going to happen if the nation states do not like them. For example, we have attempts of Facebook and the consortium to come up with a consortium-based cryptocurrency that's called Libra, and you could see how big the reaction was, and they are still struggling. But Libra is not there; they are continually working on that. So from a technological point of perspective, I think Bitcoin has all the features that you would need to create a, let's say, a worldwide currency. But the big question again is legislation, and so far Bitcoin has been more or less under the hood for many nation states because it's not really a competitor. But the bigger it gets, the more it might be seen as a potential threat, and that's why so many countries are now coming up with ideas for CBDCs. And the big question is, are they going to see peer-to-peer cryptocurrencies as a threat, or are they going to allow them in the future? And this is something nobody can really answer, because it all depends on how it develops and how many people are starting using some kind of currency that's outside a nation's reach.
Okay, I see. Thank you, Horst. And how do you think, will cryptocurrencies replace fiat money someday?
Yeah, the big question is, what's the timeline we are talking about? In the next 5 to 10 years, I don't think so, because the moment cryptocurrencies will become more powerful, then nation states will lose power, because what central banks now can do, they have some options for monetary policy, and of course the state also has some power when it comes to fiscal policy. And if there would be an external kind of money like Bitcoin, then the nations would lose their monetary policy, and that's something that most likely they won't like. So I would think that the moment those cryptocurrencies become too powerful and nation states would lose their power, their monetary power, then this would lead to some kind of legal repercussions. So from a legal perspective, I would say it's not going to happen, because countries would need to give up a lot of power.
Okay, I see. And maybe my last questions. Which new projects, actually, in which branches do you see in blockchain?
Oh, when we talk about private and permission blockchains, I mostly see application scenarios in supply chain and in value chains. Companies communicating with each other and having a permanent ledger of immutable data. And of course, there are other areas like healthcare or energy sector. When it comes to public and permissionless blockchains, the most interesting applications I still see are the kind of cryptocurrencies, or currencies that tokenize goods, could be private goods, could be public goods, and that can easily be shared and transferred online.
Okay, Horst, thank you so much for the
Darina,
interview. That was really, really interesting. Thank you
thank
so
you, Darina,
much.
for considering me and for having me.
Thank you. Have a
Thank you.
nice day.
Bye-bye. Have a nice day.